Hello, EnderSword here again, this time with a replay from the Gold League. This was given to me by NewbieOne, who has a little blog up on TeamLiquid.net with about 25 of his replays, and he asked me to take a look at a few of those, and I will actually be doing a couple of videos based on his games. The first one that we're looking at will be a TvP. So our evil Protoss player opponent will be SynThonicZ, down here in the bottom left-hand corner, and we are on Xel'Naga Caverns for this game, which is relatively small compared to a lot of the maps on the map pool today. It's one of the few, I think only two-player maps currently in the ladder pool. But nonetheless, despite its small size, we will be seeing NewbieOne go for a fast Expo in this game. So point one in our key points, we'll be looking at how to defend a fast Expo and how to do it properly. Point two will be how to keep up your macro, really making sure that you are constantly producing your workers and producing the army necessary to defend something like that. And number three, looking at the actual engagements and engagement timings to see how they can be done a little bit better to get a better result for NewbieOne in this game. A little note on the scouting. He's clearly looking around the base, knowing that he has a Protoss opponent. He's kind of looking for proxies or hidden bases or something of that nature. It's important to know that at this point there can't be one. There really can't be a hidden base somewhere, and any proxy down here or up here would just have to be a gateway or a forge at this point in the game, and there's no point in doing that. You could discover it by going right to your opponent's base and seeing if anything is there. A lot of people think to actually look for the spot that it is, but there's a million places it could be. You're better off just going to your opponent's base and checking to see if they have the right number of probes, the right number of buildings, the right number of pylons, things like that, and that will tell you whether there potentially is something out on the map. If there's a gateway in Cybercore and 2 pylons in a simulator and 20 probes or something, then there isn't a nexus over here because there just can't be. You can't have that much money. So you don't have to worry about that if you go in and see the right amount of things. So instead of wasting as much time checking everywhere, just go right to the source, and then if something is weird, look around. You can still look around your own base to make sure that you are safe. Now, on the other hand, the Protoss has, in fact, scouted that there is this going on, the fast expansions. He knows that that is the case, so he's sending up a zealot to come and attack this position. So his first zealot out is coming to attack. That should be fairly well expected. But NewbieOne does seem to overreact to this very early pressure a tiny bit. So it comes in, kills the SCV, that is fine. One zealot is going to take a long time to do any actual damage to these buildings, and he just kind of flits around. In terms of the engagement here, it's okay to pull your SCVs to tie this up, but try to make sure that the Marine is in range to do that, and that you're not losing additional SCVs for no reason, so there's no point in them engaging before the Marine is in range. Use them in conjunction. Here's the bit of an overreaction part. There's no real need to cancel that barracks. There's no real need to lift this one. And there's certainly no need to lift the command center. Watch how long he's going to take to do any damage to this. And in the meantime, you could certainly be harassing him with the Marine to make sure that he's not actually hurting anything. He could have pulled that Marine back to take care of that zealot without losing anything. But there's just a little... lost an extra SCV, lost an extra Marine, canceled the barracks that should not have been canceled. Here the barracks are not fully producing yet. It's not a lack of money. He's got plenty of money. And finally we do get a bunker going down, which probably should have been started the moment the first barracks was finished. You know that this is a vulnerable position, so you do want to get those static defenses up fairly quickly. Again, just one barracks producing, the other not. The command center going back, even though it was never really in any danger or under any attack, so it could have been making SCVs all the time. Got 3 barracks coming up, obviously trying to ramp up his production here, and that is fine given that he's got enough money to do it and still produce out of these. But then you have to continue to produce out of these is really a key to this. These going silent for this long is just 2 more Marines that aren't coming out, and that just can't be happening in this game. Also, he should be looking to transition out. Given how much money he has, he should definitely be getting one of the geysers. There he goes now, but that should have probably been gotten a little while ago. These come online, and now we've got 5 barracks unused for a little while. They do come up, but 1 is still unused, and 4 are now producing. In the meantime, while those were under construction, the original 2 barracks could have pumped out at least 4 more Marines. This engagement does come in, and nothing is pulled to repair the bunker. Knowing that that was probably an impending attack, he should have had SCVs around looking to keep that alive. Probably should have had a second bunker down in the first place so that he could make a more defensible position. 1 bunker isn't going to hold for too long. They're very cheap, and if you don't use them, you can always salvage them later. So get 2 or 3 defending that type of position, because he is ultimately going to come in with stalkers and launch an attack. Here we now kind of lost this position. The fast expo was down, but no gain was ever derived out of it, and this is just, even under extreme attack, not remembering to make more Marines. The SCVs engage in slightly before the Marines were ready to counterattack, and this is just a lost cause at this point. But it could have been saved a lot more down in this area early on by keeping that 3rd barracks there. 1 was canceled over here. Getting more bunkers down, probably 2 or 3, could have held this. Getting SCVs in this area so that they could be repaired. Making sure that you had vision or scouting in this region so that you could see when an attack was coming, and making sure that your barracks were actually constantly producing throughout that game. Little bits like the engagements could have saved him an extra Marine here or there, an extra SCV here or there, and that does add up, particularly when you're trying to be really greedy to begin with, because you're just going to be behind in units when you have taken that expansion. So you do have to rely on those defensive buildings. You have to be producing out of them, and that's how you can defend your fast expo. It's a greedy place, so you have to be just really defensive. That's all I'd really get to say for this one. I will be taking a look at another one of NewbieOne's videos right now, basically. So if you see this one posted and not that one, expect it shortly.